Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today, we're going to be talking about The Exorcism. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Oof. Stars Russell Crowe, as you can see. Russell Crowe, he's been in a lot of movies. A whole lot of movies. I mean, let's go all the way back to the first time people really recognized him. I guess that would be LA Confidential. Then after that, Gladiator with Ridley Scott. Everyone knows about that one. Are you not entertained? That classic line. So yeah, Gladiator, that was one of the big hits of 2000, one of the bigger hits of 2000. It's going to get a sequel later this year without him. Well, obviously you can't have Russell Crowe's character in there because, spoiler, he died. So it'd be weird to bring him back. But yeah, so Russell Crowe had Gladiator, A Beautiful Mind, Master and Commander. That really wasn't a huge hit, but it was a well-received movie, but it wasn't a financial hit. Cinderella Man, that kind of did meh business. 310 to Yuma did like okay-ish for a western. American Gangster did really good. Helped that he was with Denzel Washington with that one, and that was also a Ridley Scott movie. Then some meh movies. Robin Hood, another Ridley Scott movie, did like meh. Then Les Mis, oh boy, Les Mis, where everyone shat all over his singing in that movie because it just was not good, objectively, especially compared to his co-stars. It really wasn't good. Then Man of Steel, where's Jor-El, Superman Space Dad. That was a big old hit. Noah, a very controversial movie from 2014. That was a big hit. The Nice Guys, that really wasn't a hit, but it was well received. I'm pretty sure it's reached like cult status now, I would imagine. Oh, we're just going to skip past The Mummy. I'll talk about that later. Thor Love and Thunder is Zeus. He didn't really have a big role in that movie, so I don't think it's really that relevant. But yeah, Russell Crowe, he's been in a lot of stuff. He has had quite a few hits, and I imagine he's going to be the only reason why anyone would even watch this thing. So I'm going to label him as a pro, but I will go over all his flops when we get to the cons. Okay. But I guess his presence would be like a pro. So that's pro number one. Pro number two. Guess what? There is no pro number two. I can't for the life of me think of anything. So let's go to the cons, and the cons are real. They're real eye opening for me. So going back to Russell Crowe, let's just do this quickly. So Russell Crowe, I've talked about his success stories. Let's talk about all his flops. All right, so let's see relevant flops. Proof of Life. What even is that? I've never heard that. I guess that was a buzz, but I've never heard that movie in my life. Never really looked into it. So I mentioned like Master and Commander, Cinderella Man. They didn't do great financially, but A Good Year was a disaster. I think that was Ridley Scott too, right? Was it Ridley Scott? Damn, it was Ridley Scott. Good Year. I mean, look at $7 million. That is just fucked. Like, goddamn. The Body of Lies and State of Play, they just underwhelmed. Robin Hood did okay for itself, even though it was super expensive. Next 3 days, no one remembers that movie. Man with the Iron Fist, no one remembers that movie either. Broken City, that was a bomb. He was in Winter's Tale. He was he? I don't recall him being in that. I know Will Smith was in that movie, but yes, he was. Well, no one watched that movie at all. The Mummy, that was a big old L right there. That's a classic example of how not to attempt to start a cinematic universe. Like, And I will never forget. I never seen the movie, but I know that I will never forget Universal being so overconfident that they put the Universal logo and they changed it to the Dark Universe. They were so convinced it was going to be a thing. And then the movie released, and those dreams died real quick. So, yeah, The Mummy, huge flop, obviously. Unhinged, that was historic. Well, that movie's kind of important in the history of movies because it was the first movie to be released when theaters reopened in August of 2020 after they were closed for about 5 months because of COVID. But it didn't do that great in the grand scheme of things. But I'm gonna give that a pass because no one was going to the movies at that point, so it gets a pass for me. And then Pope's Exorcist, that was a flop in the States last year, but internationally it did a lot better. But in the States, it was a bust. So yeah, and it's interesting I'm talking about Pope's Exorcist because it's so weird that you have Russell Crowe in two Exorcist movies, like back to back. And obviously, it would be very easy to be confused because when you see like Russell Crowe in The Exorcism, you're just like, wait a minute, was he in it? Was that not a movie he made last year? Like, I mean, can you blame people for being confused? I mean, look at the titles: The Pope's Exorcist, The Exorcism. You think it would be like a follow up or something, but it's not. It's completely unrelated to Pope's Exorcist. But like, we come on, like I don't get that. So yeah, so Russell Crowe, his track record is far from great. So that's a con. Another con is the fact that, well, actually, I should mention something real crazy. This movie was filmed in 2019. I'm not lying. I'm not kidding. This was filmed 5 fucking years ago. Pre-COVID. Okay? It was that long ago. Like, it was filmed and then it stopped because of COVID, and then they wouldn't like do any more reshoots. Like fucking 2023. This was sitting on the shelf for 4 goddamn years before they finished it. It's crazy. It's absolutely mind-boggling that happened. But that's what went down. So I just had to mention that. Uh, See, another con I can think of. Oh, it's reviews and it's audience score and it's cinema score. Oh, that cinema score. Oh, I don't even know where to begin with that. But I guess we'll start. With the reviews. Reviews their ass across the board. 31% critic score, 41 not 41, 49% audience score. And its cinema score, man, this rocked me. It got a D. A D. It has been so long since I've seen a score that low for a movie. I usually, the lowest I've seen is like C minus. I've rarely seen a movie get like a D score. Ever. Like, maybe the Drive Away Dolls. What was that? That was a C. See, a D. I cannot recall the last time I've seen like a movie with a D cinema score. Like a D cinema score. That goes beyond, cinema score being like harsh towards horror movies. That is hatred right there. That is contempt by the audience. And you know what? That 49% audience. I need to see these ratings. I need to see them. Though I know the vibe. Okay, the worst exorcism movie of all time. says, disappointed. Plot had lots of potential, but took way too long to get there. I actually dozed off a couple times. Let's see. It says, this was clearly hacked to death in the editing room. Second half of the movie, especially. What a great premise they squandered. That's one thing I'll give this movie. It has an interesting premise. It's kind of like a meta premise where Russell Crowe, he plays an actor and they're shooting a supernatural horror movie, like an Exorcist-esque horror movie. And I'm like, okay, so this is very meta, you know, an exorcism movie about a fake exorcism movie. I'm like, okay, that's a little different. I can respect that. Apparently, it just wasn't executed all that well, but I can at least respect the idea. Let's see. A half star. No nice way of putting this. What an abysmal film. Absolutely horrible. Movies like this give the horror genre a bad reputation. Okay. Uh. Let's see. Okay, here's a 1 star. Oh, this one has. We got like a whole paragraph here. Movie was terrible. It felt rushed. Not sure why Chloe was there, but the acting was very cringy and off. Not sure what the whole lesbian scenes was about, but it definitely could have been left out. A lot of scenes just seemed pointless, not scary at all, and I could watch Evil Dead without flinching. Seemed put together, not really cohesive. Okay, that's. I'll just let that sit in for a moment. that that audience review sit in for just a couple seconds. Okay, so overall, word of mouth is awful across the board. So that's obviously a con. Another con is that the horror genre has been struggling mightily this year. It's been real shit. There is yet to be like a single breakout movie in the genre. Every single horror movie that's come out has done moderate at best and terrible at worst. Although that will definitely change next week when A Quiet Place Day 1 comes out. But right now, the horror genre is in a rut. As you've seen with the performance of the Watchers earlier this month. And The Exorcism is not going to change that. So, yeah. The horror genre not being in the best place right now. I'm going to label that as a con. Another con is that this movie has no marketing surrounding it, no buzz, no energy. At least the Bike Riders has a bit more, to it than this. And I only found out about this movie because of, well, like it popped up on the schedule and I was waiting. I was like, am I going to have to talk about this? And I saw it's theater count. I'm like, well, I guess I will talk about it. So yeah, lack of marketing, lack of energy, lack of buzz, all that con. It's also the fact that this movie is dealing with, Inside Out 2 just dominating everything. So you gotta deal with that behemoth. And then there's also Bad Boys Ride or Die. Basically, if you're going to the movies, you're only seeing one of two movies. You're either gonna see Inside Out 2, Bad Boys for Life, or nothing else. That's it. Those are your two options. So yeah, so you gotta deal with those two movies. That's a con. And not to mention, there's gonna be direct competition next weekend with A Quiet Place Day 1, which I imagine will do well. And then the week after that, you have Maxine, another horror movie. So yeah, direct competition is on its way and it's on its way fast, and that will not be good for this movie. So that's a con. And I think that's it. I think, yeah, I believe that's it. Well, actually, no. I could go vertical entertainment. What are they? What, like what even are they? Like what do they make? Gaudy. Oh my god. with John Travolta. I remember this. I never seen the movie because why the hell would I do that? But I remember it coming out and people were just destroying it with reviews. I think it got a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. I remember that. So yeah, that was, I guess that's their main claim to fame. Fucking gaudy. Everything else I had never heard of in my life, except maybe After We Fell. Those god awful after movies that are just just a prime example of how not to portray romance in film. Um, but yeah, Vertical Entertainment, they've had no hits, so yeah, that's obviously an enormous con. But anywho, so opening weekend, I think this is opening like 1,000 plus theater, like almost 2,000 theater. I will check really quickly. It's over 2,000 theaters. Okay, and it's expected to go under 2 million. I'm seeing 1.85. I'm not expecting much better. So yeah, I'm gonna say 1 to 2 million. Let's go with that. And it's total. I'm just gonna say 2 million. It's total. This movie's not gonna have legs at all. I see it disappearing within like 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks, it'll just be a memory. Like 4 million. I'm gonna go with just 4 million, and that is it. That is it for the weekend. Apparently, there's another wide release, like the Thelma. But I don't care. I do not care. The only two, I'm only doing the ones that are highlighted, not these two. So I'm not doing that one. We're done for the weekend. So next week we got a couple movies to talk about. The big one being A Quiet Place Day 1. Also have Horizon and American Saga Chapter 1. And I guess Blue Lock the movie. I guess so. I know I'm doing Quiet Day 1 and Horizon. I know I'm doing those. Those are guaranteed. I guess Blue Lock, maybe. But, yeah, there's going to be multiple episodes of multiple prediction videos I'm going to be making next week. So stay tuned for those. And yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn on notifications, share the whole drill. And check out more videos like this. I got playlists on the homepage, all previous prediction videos I've made this year. You want to watch any of the prediction videos I made this year, the past few years, go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Never talked about the Exorcism at all. I didn't know it was a thing until like recently. Oh, I forgot to mention like a little con. Why are there so many fucking Exorcist movies? There's too many. Genre's way oversaturated. Stop making them so frequently. The only one I might be interested in is that new Exorcist movie from Mike Flanagan. That is pretty much that only exists because Exorcist Believer was a flop and it killed that trilogy from existing. So that'll be like it's that like this new Exorcist movie is being like a reinvention of it. And if it's good, I'll check it out. But yeah, Exorcism movies, there's just too many. Stop making them, or at least make them and stop making so many. Okay, they all feel the same. They're all cookie cutter. They all blend in with each other. Stop making them. Okay, rant over. But yeah, I where was I? Okay, I made 248 episodes of canceled right now. Two more, and then I'm done with the series. I know a little bit of news has dropped this past week regarding like release dates and stuff. I'll wait till something a little bigger happens, and then I'll just group all of it into like one cancel episode. Because I want those last two episodes to, you know, mean something and not just be throwaways. So, yeah, stay tuned for those. But if you want to watch any of the past cancel episodes, you want to binge them all from the beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. December, no, what December? Jeez, May recap. I already did that. June recap that won't happen until between the 5th and the 12th, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you want to watch any of the past recap videos of Man the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.